So former MSNBC host Joy Reid spilled the tea a little bit here, y'all, about what it's like working at MSNBC. This is quite admission. Let's listen.
I got to, NBC, and I Twitter back in 2000. I think I joined in 08 or 09, and the bosses were horrified. And anytime I would tweet anything, I would get calls. I would get, please get off Twitter. We hate it. They don't like that it pulls their talent and their reporters out of their control, because now you're not running what you're tweeting through standards and practices. It's giving your personality directly to the audience, which they don't like because it's no longer managed and curated by them. And they don't want people breaking news.
That's wild, bro. You're a host on a cable news network, MSNBC, right? Which it's hard enough to get people to watch cable news, but you start giving your real personality, giving your real opinion, sort of connecting directly to people with no corporate middleman. And they tried to censor you and silence you and make sure you don't do it. Oh my God, guys. They're never going to learn. They're never going to learn. Fox News has been number one in cable news for a long time. One of the main reasons is that they are feeding their right-wing slop to their base on a daily basis. They are giving the audience what they want. It is red meat to the base. It is direct. Those people are who they look like they are on TV. They are loathsome, cretin, far right-wingers. And you're muzzling the hosts on what's supposed to be the liberal network. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And by the way, Joy Reid has been pretty good on the issue of Palestine, which might be one of the reasons why she's no longer with them anymore, right? This reminds me of the story. Crystal's told this story publicly before, too. She did a monologue when she used to work for MSNBC, and the gist of the monologue was like, please, Hillary, don't run. That was the gist of the monologue. It's like, look, sorry, it's not your time. You're too corporate. You're too milquetoast. You're an insider. You're part of the establishment, etc. We need a real outsider lefty, somebody like Bernie Sanders. She did this whole thing, right? And then the bosses contacted her and said, look, it's not a big deal or anything, but next time you want to do anything about Hillary Clinton, run it by us first. Well, you need approval. Run it by us first. And that was a wake-up call for her. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. There are sacred cows here. They have a process. It's just like the Democratic Party, how they have the gerontocracy, and like, there's a hierarchy, and there's a process, and there are rules, and this person goes next. And so, in other words, they completely throw out the window the idea of a meritocracy. They completely throw out the window the idea of organically and genuinely and sincerely becoming popular through the force of your own personality with a direct line to the people. They want you to be a boring asshole, right? Well, of course, then Fox News is going to continue to be number one forever if you're muzzling and censoring the only honest moments your hosts have on MSNBC. It's just so wild to me. I know that everybody in cable news is sort of resigned to the fact. Here's how they think. Well, old people are generally more conservative, and it's usually old people who watch cable news. Therefore, like, Fox News is always going to be leading because they just have a built-in demographic advantage. And that is, there's a grain of truth in that argument. But at the same time, how would you know if they're unbeatable if you've never actually tried? But the fact of the matter is, they don't want to try. They don't care first and foremost about the ratings, because the fact of the matter is, if you have a loudmouth, arrogant, aggressive lefty like me on air saying the things I really believe, we need to tax these corporations, we need to tax these billionaires, we need universal health care, we need higher wages, we need to end the wars, defund Israel, saying stuff like that, oh my God, they'll kick you off before the end of the fucking day. Right? So you're fighting with both hands handcuffed behind your back. Just like corporate milquetoast pre-approved talking points, right? That the bosses won't get mad at. I mean, this is crazy. Because just the idea of like, oh, you're tweeting and being yourself and that's unacceptable. It's like, you might say something that we don't like. It's like, who cares? Who are you? Some asshole in a suit who's in the boardroom at MSNBC. Shut the fuck up. You're nobody. Nobody cares what you think. But to them, they're probably thinking first and foremost of their donors, of their advertisers. And so they want to make sure everything's on the up and up. I'm sorry, bro. We don't live in that political age anymore. You can't micromanage anymore because you see how insane and fascist the right has gotten. And you know what? In order to fight back against it, it's like Tim Wall said, maybe we should be meaner. maybe we should bully the bullies, right? Maybe we should let it all hang out. Maybe we should be done with this era of stupid bipartisanship and holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Maybe it's time for unvarnished truth and for you to get our real personalities and what we're really like. I mean, it must have been so hard to be in this environment. I could never. I would have been fired within a week, the stuff I say. Jesus Christ. But Joy Reid is coming out there now and spitting facts, right? Telling us just how controlling the bosses are and just how much they don't let you get away with, but you really are handcuffing the talent in that instance. For all we know, Chris Hayes is more of a flamethrower than he appears to be. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be fair. To be fair, they've been in the second Trump term. I do feel like MSNBC has stepped up their game a little bit and been more aggressive and been better, certainly better than just like your run-of-the-mill Democratic politicians. But there's so much room for improvement if the bosses just shut the fuck up, move aside, and let us do our thing. But again, their primary concern is, what about our advertisers? What about our donors? What about the big money forces? And if you have people out there like me openly advocating for redistributing the wealth and taxing corporations and taxing the billionaires, that's the last thing they want to hear. So then there is no real left network with that mindset. If the corporate network if they give you a ball and chain that thoroughly, right? If they lock you down that thoroughly, there is no real left network. But I should be thanking them, because then they leave the lane wide open for people like us to come online and get the views they should be getting, right? So that's where we are. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.